Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse number 12. Na tu ev aham jatu nasam, na tvam na ime janadhipaha, na cha ev na bhavishyamaha, sarve vayam ataha param. There was never a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any one of us cease to be. So after explaining that this body is temporary and everyone has to leave this body one day or another, the question may arise that when one leaves this body, is that the end of one's existence? To clarify that point, Krishna is saying in this verse, no, the end of this life does not mean that our existence comes to an end. Krishna says that actually there was never a time that I, the Supreme Lord, did not exist. And not only me, there was never a time that you did not exist. And not just you and me, but even these kings always existed in the past. And we are now existing in the present, and after the giving up this body, all of us will not cease to exist. Now, of course, there is a difference in the transcendental body of the Lord and that of ordinary living entities. When we give up our material body, we take up another material body if we are not liberated. But when the Lord concludes his pastimes in this world, he does not give up his body, but in his same transcendental spiritual form goes back to his original abode. So when Krishna here is referring to Arjun as that you did not, it was never a time when you did not exist or these kings did not exist, then he is not referring to the external body of Arjun or the kings. He is referring to their spirit soul, which is eternal and indestructible. That soul transmigrates from one body to another body, as we discussed last time. It is covered with a subtle body, and subtle body carries the soul from one life to another life, and in every life it gets a new external or gross body. Now there is another spiritual entity, and that is the super soul or Krishna. In Kat Upanishad it states, Nityaha Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. There is one supreme eternal amongst all eternals, one supreme consciousness among all conscious beings. Although he is one, he fulfills the desires of all. And then it further states, Tam Atmastham Ye Anupashyanti Dhiraha Tesham Shantihi Shashwati Netaresham. Only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace. So, there are two types of eternal spiritual entities. One is the individual soul or the Jivatma, and one is the super soul or Paramatma. And they both exist individually and eternally. See, this is very important point that Krishna is explaining here, that the individuality of the soul is not destroyed at the time of death. It is not that when the body is given up, the soul merges into Paramatma or that transcendental light or energy called Brahmjyoti. This is the conception of the Mayavadis or the impersonalists. Srila Swami Prabhupada ji in his commentary states that the Mayavadi theory that after liberation the individual soul, separated by the covering of Maya or illusion, will merge into the impersonal Brahman and lose its individual existence is not supported herein by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Authority. Nor is the theory that we only think of individuality in the conditioned state supported herein. Krishna clearly says herein that in the future also the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishads, will continue eternally. If it was the case that the soul merges into the super soul, as the impersonalists or Mayavadis propound, then Krishna would not have specifically referred to himself, to Arjun and all the kings as existing in their individual capacity in the past, in the present, as well as in the future. Many times the impersonalists give this example that just like when a drop of water is put in a bucket of water or in ocean, it becomes one with that body of water. Similarly, the soul, when it gives up this body or gets liberated, becomes one with the super soul or Paramatman. This is a faulty example because even though it seems that the drop of water has become one with the bucket of water or the larger body of water, factually speaking or chemically speaking, that drop of water still maintains its individuality. If you have, many of you must have read chemistry in your high school, a water is two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, and many such molecules put together forms a drop of water. Now, if you individually are able to tag these atoms, then you will see that even though one drop and many droplets come together, these molecules, each molecule, which is two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, maintains its individuality. It's not that the hydrogen atom from one molecule of water merges with the oxygen atom from another molecule of water. This is a very well known fact in chemistry. So, every molecule of water maintains its distinctiveness. Similarly, the soul maintains its distinctiveness eternally. Now, another point to remember or understand here is that since the soul will never cease to exist, as Krishna is stating here, that means that the soul was also never created, because anything that is ever created will certainly one day die. Just like this body does get created, therefore it comes to an end. But the soul does not come to an end because it was never created. Because our language is so weak, we are trying to understand that transcendental absolute truth which is beyond the senses by using our mundane material languages which are so limiting. To explain, we say that soul was manifested from the super soul. But the truth is that the super soul is the source of all the souls, in the sense that all the souls have the same quality as the super soul, but they have been existing eternally in their individual distinctive capacities. Now, when it is said that at the beginning of creation only the Supreme existed, that is true, because everyone is within him. Every soul, every Jivatma particle is within the body of the Super Soul. That does not mean that they are merged into him. It simply means they reside within him. The entire creation resides within him, but each individual soul maintains its distinctiveness. And because of that reason, it is able to have a spiritual relationship of love and devotion towards the Supreme. Because if they merged into one, how could the Jiva serve the Supreme Lord? Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains another very nice point in his commentary. He states, Krishna asks the question, O my friend Arjun, when one grieves over the death of a dear person, what is the object of his love? Is it the body or the soul? In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Sarvesham api bhutanam nripa swatmaiva vallabhaha. Sri Shukadev Goswami is speaking this to Maharaj Parikshit. When Maharaj Parikshit asked Sri Shukadev Goswami, O Brahman, Sri Krishna was not born to the parents of other cowherd boys. So then how was it possible for those parents to have such unparalleled love for him, a love they did not even have for their own children? In response to this, Sri Shukadev Goswami says, O king of all the living entities, the Atma or Self is certainly the most dear. Although objects that are separate from one's self, such as a son, wealth, or a house, are dear to one's self, they are not as dear as the self itself. The affection one has for them is secondary to the affection one has for one's own self. In other words, there is a difference between I and mine. The amount of affection a person has for the objects he possesses is not the same as the affection that he has for his own self. He says that Sri Krishna is the very self of the self, and for that reason he is every soul's most dear object. The world which is related to Krishna is also dear, but not the most dear. Krishna is the object of the word I because he is the soul of all souls, and anything related to Krishna, such as the universe, is the object of the word mine. That is why Krishna is so dear to the cowherd boys. So Krishna, the source of all consciousness, is the supreme consciousness among all conscious beings. And the goal of the individual conscious beings or the Jivatmas is to re-establish their forgotten, their lost loving relationship of devotional service to that supreme conscious being, Sri Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. And because we are his part and parcels, we are also eternal like him. Just like he is the supreme individual, we are also individuals, though in the minute sense of being atomic conscious particles. So Krishna is saying here that the river of life never stops. There is a continuum of life. It existed in the past, it is currently existing, and it will never cease to be. And it is this continuum of life that gives meaning to life itself. Because there was a yesterday, today is meaningful, and because there is a today, tomorrow will be meaningful. Just like within this life also, there is a continuum between yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Similarly, there is a continuum between from our previous lives to this lives and to the future lives. And since the life never stops, it simply changes its external appearance in form of different bodies, and when gets liberated attains the spiritual body. Therefore Krishna is saying there is no reason to lament, my dear Arjun. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, have a very blessed day.